In the quiet town of Fayetteville, West Virginia, the Sodder family's life took a tragic turn on Christmas Eve in 1945, when a mysterious fire engulfed their home. George and Jenny Sodder, along with 9 of their 10 children, managed to escape the flames, but 5 of their offspring, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were nowhere to be found. The mysterious circumstances surrounding the Sodder children's disappearance have since become one of the most enduring and perplexing unsolved mysteries in American history. George and Jenny Sodder were Italian immigrants who had settled in Fayetteville, West Virginia, where George operated a successful trucking and coal hauling business. The Sodder family was well regarded in the community, and their home was a bustling household filled with the laughter and energy of 10 children. However, little did they know that their lives were about to be forever changed on that fateful Christmas Eve. On the night of December 24, 1945, the Sodder family retired to bed after a festive Christmas celebration. Around 1:30 a.m., they were abruptly awakened by the sound of a telephone call. Jenny, the mother, answered and heard a woman's voice asking for a name she didn't recognize. Sensing something amiss, Jenny noticed that the lights were still on and the curtains were not drawn. Later investigations revealed that the telephone line had been cut. Shortly after Jenny returned to bed, a fire broke out. George, Jenny, and 4 of their children, John, Marion, Sylvia, and George Jr., managed to escape the burning house. However, the 5 other Sodder children who slept in the upstairs bedrooms were missing: Maurice, 14, Martha, 12, Louis, 9, Jenny, 8, and Betty, 5. In the chaotic aftermath of the fire, the Sodder family made desperate attempts to rescue the missing children. George attempted to use a ladder to reach the second floor, but it was mysteriously missing. He then tried to use his trucks to climb to the upper windows, but none of the vehicles would start. The fire department, located only 2.5 miles away, did not receive the call until the next morning, delaying their response. As investigators sifted through the ashes, puzzling details emerged. Despite the intense fire, little evidence of the children's remains was found. The Sodder family believed that their children might have survived the fire and been abducted. A search of the surrounding area yielded no traces of the missing children. Several witnesses later reported seeing what appeared to be a fireball or a slow-moving incendiary device near the Sodder home on the night of the fire. Additionally, George and Jenny Sodder discovered strange green rubber-like fragments in the ashes, later identified as napalm, which raised questions about the origin and cause of the fire. In the years following the fire, the Sodder family received a series of strange and anonymous letters. One letter claimed that the missing children were alive and well, living in a remote location. Another demanded a sum of money in exchange for information about the children's whereabouts. The Sodders, unsure whether these letters were genuine or part of a cruel hoax, chose not to respond. In 1967, over 2 decades after the fire, the Sodders received an envelope in the mail containing a photograph of a young man. On the back of the photograph, someone had written, "Louis Sodder. I love brother Frankie. Elil boys. A 90,132 or 35. The family interpreted Elil boys as an anagram for lives, further fueling their hope that Louis might still be alive. The disappearance of the Sodder children has given rise to numerous theories, and the case is fraught with controversies and conflicting accounts. Several factors contribute to the enduring mystery. The Sodders believed that their children might have been abducted and taken far away. This theory gained traction due to the lack of physical evidence of the children's remains in the fire. Some witnesses reported seeing unidentified individuals near the Sodder home on the night of the fire. Authorities concluded that the fire was likely caused by faulty wiring. However, the Sodders contested this, as George had recently inspected and updated the wiring in the house. The unusual behavior of the fire, with its rapid and intense nature, led the family to question the official explanation. The Sodders suspected that local officials may have played a role in the disappearance of their children. George Sodder was an outspoken critic of Italian dictator Benito Mussolini, and the family believed that this may have made them targets for retribution or intimidation. The discovery of the green, napalm-like substance in the ashes fueled speculation about foul play. Some suggested that the Sodder home might have been targeted for arson, while others theorized that the substance was used to accelerate the fire. The mysterious photograph received by the Sodders in 1967 remains an enigma. While the family saw it as potential evidence of Louis still being alive, skeptics argue that the photograph could be an unrelated person or part of an elaborate hoax. The Sodder family never gave up hope and continued to pursue answers to the mystery of their missing children. They enlisted the help of private investigators, held press conferences, and even erected a billboard near their former home, displaying images of the missing children and seeking information. In 1968, the Sodders filed a lawsuit against the Fayetteville Fire Department, alleging that their slow response had contributed to the children's disappearance. The judge dismissed the case, stating that while the department's response could have been swifter, there was no concrete evidence that it would have changed the outcome. The disappearance of the Sodder children left an indelible mark on the family and the town of Fayetteville. The Sodders never accepted the official explanation and spent their lives searching for the truth. The family erected a memorial garden at the site of their former home, and the billboard seeking information remained in place for many years. In 2006, the surviving Sodder children held a memorial service for their missing siblings, officially declaring them deceased. However, the questions surrounding the events of that Christmas Eve in 1945 persist, and the mystery of the Sodder children's disappearance endures as one of the most haunting and perplexing unsolved cases in American history. Decades after that tragic night, numerous questions remain unanswered. Were the Sodder children victims of abduction, and if so, what became of them? What was the origin and purpose of the mysterious fireball or incendiary device seen near the Sodder home? Who sent the anonymous letters and the photograph to the Sodder family, and what was their motive? What role, if any, did local authorities play in the events surrounding the disappearance? Is there a connection between the green, napalm-like substance found in the ashes and the rapid intensity of the fire? The Sodder children's disappearance stands as a haunting testament to the unresolved mysteries that linger in the shadows of our collective history, leaving us to wonder about the fate of 5 young lives that vanished without a trace.